think we should get a little bit into this NL playoff race. So I brought up that there's a team that won tonight off a ridiculous play. The Cardinals won on a hit by pitch. So that's always nice when teams start winning like that. But let's jump into the standings a little bit. I will pull them up right here. I know that the Giants are currently playing right now. The Brewers are playing right now. So this isn't exactly perfect. But going into tonight, the Padres were 2 games up. Let me share my screen real quick and we will see this. But they're not 2 games up anymore. They are 1.5. Here we go. Let me pull it up right now. So this is wild card. The Braves are on absolute fire right now. They just absolutely destroyed the Mets the last couple nights. The Phillies have been pretty hot as well. And then you see the Padres and the Brewers right here are slumping. They haven't been very good as of late, both 4 and 6 in their last 10. And the Padres currently have a 1.5 games on the Brewers. I don't know the score of their game right now, but a 1.5 games on the Brewers. So I don't think the Brewers are. I don't think the Brewers are gonna be able to catch the Padres. The Brewers have a horrible schedule. I don't think that there's really it would be really, really far fetched for them to catch up. They also sold a lot of their guys, and I don't think their team is that great. I will tell you the thing that absolutely scares me, that absolutely terrifies me, is the Giants, dude. Because the Giants are getting hot, and we talked about this. They're not that great of a team, but dude, the Padres play them 6 more times.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely terrifying to me. So where are you at with the playoff picture? Because I know the Padres are slumping right now. You have a game tomorrow. You're playing Pablo Lopez. Then it's a 4-game series against the Nationals. The schedule does heat up a little bit, but I don't know. I think maybe it's just some PTSD from being a little kid and watching the Giants beat the Padres on the last game of the season. But the Giants are the team I feel like I do not want the Giants creeping up.
No, man. I mean, we've brought it up a couple times. We always say, the Giants are that kind of team, no matter what their record is, not no matter what, but when it comes September, late October, it's like, oh shoot, the Giants have been hot lately, or are only 1 or 2 games back of that last playoff spot. It happens every year. So I feel pretty safe with the Padres right now. I do think they're still going to make the playoffs. I think a lot of people are, they have a lot of PTSD from last year, which is understandable, but I feel like there's also a better lineup than last year. We actually have something called pitching this year. I mean, Blake,
you don't want to go get Arrieta?
Yeah, exactly. People were absolutely insane trying to compare this year to last year when, I mean, yeah, Sean Manaea has been pretty bad, but other than Sean Manaea, it's like, dude, you still got 4 other really capable pitchers, and this lineup's not going to slump forever. This is still a pretty damn good lineup. We still play the Nationals 4 more times. We play the Diamondbacks a few more times. Yeah, the Giants can be somewhat of a threat, but I still think that we'll be all right against the Giants. People were saying our September schedule's hard. We play the Dodgers 9 times, yeah, but if we get hot around that time, it's not going to really matter. Other than that, we play the Diamondbacks. The Mariners are a pretty good team. Diamondbacks another 4 games. Cardinals 3 times, Rockies 3 times. The White Sox aren't very good, and then you play the Giants in the last series. It's not super easy, but it's not a brutal schedule. The Phillies still play the Mets a few more times. They still play the Braves 7 more times. It's we're not the only team with a tough schedule. The Brewers in September play in consecutive games.
Dude, they have a rough 2 weeks.
Cardinals,
you see that?
Cardinals, Yankees, Mets, Cardinals again, late September. So it's that's a pretty tough schedule. We're not the only team with a tough schedule. And we're probably the best team out of those guys. So I think people are kind of worrying a little too much now when it comes late September. And if I'm wrong, go ahead and throw it in my face. But I'm sorry, I'm confident in this team. But the Brewers, like you said, not a very talented team in my opinion. Tied with the Dodgers right now. Hopefully the Dodgers are able to come through in that one. Oh, God, I hate saying that. But hopefully they do. So I mean, yeah, the Padres are in a little bit of a rut right now. Hopefully these guys are just still getting acclimated, and of course the distraction with Fernando is probably one of the toughest things to deal with, because the guys are getting asked all that. I mean, that's one of the only questions towards the Padres these past few days, man. For me, it's dude, leave him alone. They probably don't want to talk about it. They're trying to go out there and win baseball games without him. He's not on the field. Talk about the product that's on the field. But you know, it is what it is when he's he was at least one of the top faces in baseball. So with that being said, I kind of expect the Padres to finish around fifth. I think they're going to finish fifth, to be honest. But I mean, sixth also isn't bad. I want them to finish fifth just because, past few years, it's always been 5 teams make the playoffs, and I don't want to be that team that only made the playoffs because there was an extra spot. So it'd be nice to finish fifth, maybe fourth. Obviously, you're not winning the division, but it looks like fifth could be in realistic finish for the Padres.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people talking about the Padres playing the Dodgers and losing those games. I mean, I don't think that's gonna you want to win games, of course, but the Padres also kind of control their own fate against the Giants. They just beat them in the most recent series, which helped a lot. And we talked about that, I think, a little bit in the series recap. Like, you gotta go, you gotta win these games. Yeah. But you still play the Giants 6 times, and you play them 3 times at the end of the season as well. Yeah. You play them pretty soon here too, so. This is a bad spot, though, because Sky also said the Brewers are a serious threat. They have a hard schedule. It's going to get a lot easier. I agree with you, Sky. I think that's absolutely true. And that's the thing that's kind of frustrating. Is like, dude, if there's a time to not slump, it's when you're playing crappy teams. Now, we also say they're playing crappy teams. Like, the Marlins pitching this series is it's a pretty good pitching rotation that they're throwing at the 3 guys. So I don't know, man. I think that you kind of control your own fate in terms of you're playing the Giants a lot. I want to see the Giants schedule, though. I have not looked at the Giants schedule.
I just found it. I got you. I just found it right now. They have a brutal stretch coming up. They play the Twins 3 times, the Padres 3 times, the Phillies 3 times, the Dodgers 3 times, and the Brewers twice, all in back-to-back series. Those are all playoff contenders. That's absurd. And then they go against the Cubs. But then they play the Braves 3 times and the Dodgers 3 times again, and then the Padres to finish the season. They have one that has got to be one of the toughest schedules in all of baseball, if not the absolute toughest. And they are not the type of team. I swear if they prove me wrong, I would be so sad. But they are not the type of team to rip off a bunch of wins against those kind of teams. So I feel like, as long as we're able to create some separation and take advantage of these upcoming series against the Nationals, the Royals, the Guardians are a pretty good team, but you should be able to beat the Guardians. Like, you need to really take advantage of these series coming up because, I mean, last year what killed the Padres, we keep bringing it up, is they weren't able to beat those teams that were around that 500 mark or lower than 500. That's what killed them. That's what essentially ended in under a 500 season. You're 4 games under 500 because you kept losing to the Rockies. You kept losing to the Diamondbacks. That absolutely has to be reversed this year. And people are saying, we'll only take 3 of the next 9 against the Dodgers. If we take 3 or 4 and win the other games, I will be happy. I will be happy with that because we're not rivals right now. We're not rivals right now. As much as I want to beat them and I hate them, we're not rivals, and we're not focused on the Dodgers. We're not focused on winning the division anymore. We need the Dodgers to win some of these games. So it's like, as much as I hate them, we need them to win. And I mean, of course, we need to handle business against them. But if we can take 4 of the next 9 against the Dodgers, I'll be pretty happy. But yeah, man, I think the Padres are still a pretty damn good team, man. I do see them making the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I will say this: after the Nationals series, I think it'll be a little bit more clear because I guess it like every other time you start counting down, like, okay, we're only this many games away from the Blades, only this many games, but dude, you're shooting for a 4-game sweep against the Nationals, and I know that sounds a little bit absurd. Go watch the Nationals, bro. The Nationals are like a fake MLB team at this point. I don't know if you saw today, but the Red Sox announcer called the Pirates franchise pathetic. That's kind of the same boat that the Nationals are in when you look. I mean, and they've won and they've done stuff, but like the talent right now in the Nationals, dude, it is rough. So you get home, you get hot against the Nationals. I think that'll help a ton. I see some people talking about the Guardians too. The Padres do have a 2-game series against the Guardians. They play the Royals. They have a decent road stretch after this most recent home one. So that's going to be extremely important as well. But you have a lot of games against the Cardinals. Padres have played, or I'm sorry, not the Cardinals. They do play the Cardinals, but against the Diamondbacks. And the Padres have played the Diamondbacks a lot better this season than last season. Now, the only thing is you just do not want to see Merrill Kelly. You want to see him as little as possible because they can't hit him. No, he's absurd. But
Mhm.
apparently the Giants can't hit Merrill Kelly either. I was talking to one of my buddies who's a Giants fan today. He's like, no, it's the same thing for us, dude.
That's
It's just
insane.
absurd.
Hmm.
He
Yeah,
has a
that's.
sub three ERA this year.
Oh my God! So he's actually a baller.
Dude, no, this is like his breakout season. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. That's pretty cool though. At least we're not the only team getting cooked by him anymore. Um, but yeah, you got to take advantage of those Diamondbacks games. Like you said, they've been playing them a lot better this year, whereas last year it was pretty tough. But I mean, I just saw something on Twitter. It was like this kind of feels the same as last year, where really the only guys you can rely on in the lineup last year in the back half was Fernando and Manny. And I mean, of course, the lineup is a lot better this year, so I feel like it's going to be different. I don't think you're only going to have Soto and Machado in the lineup to rely on. Um, but yeah, man, let's see how the rest of the season goes. The Braves, they're going to be a lock to make it. The Mets, the Dodgers, they don't got to worry about any of that. I would probably say the Cardinals as well, just because I do think the Cardinals are a much better team than the Brewers are. More well-rounded, more star power. Just an overall top to bottom, really, really good organization that seems like they're consistently in the playoff race and in the playoffs. So I do think they'll guaranteed be in it. Really, right now, what it's looking like is who's going to come out on top between the Padres, the Giants, the Brewers, and the Phillies. So that's gonna be the big question looming for this Padres team. You got it on paper. You're much better than every single one of those teams. Not every single one. I just mean the teams that I said are competing with the Padres. But only those. You're better than those teams. You're better than the Giants. You're better than the Phillies, and you're better than the Brewers on paper. But it's about putting it together. Don't be the Padres. The Padres always choke. The Padres always come down to this last part of the season where it's shit, when they are in the playoff hunt, especially last year, the last and then 2010, it's like, the Padres are looking good. They might make the playoffs, and it's no, they choked. Don't do that. But yeah, I don't think this team's capable of that. I think this team's capable of going on a hot streak come September and winning a lot of ball games.
Yeah, and I see a couple things here. So Oceanside Boy says Padres are 50-33 against teams under 500. Dude, that is a drastic difference compared to last season. Dude,
Huge.
So much different. The Giants also have a good record as well. So both these teams have played well against teams under 500. Now the good thing is that the Padres play a lot of worse teams out this last part of the schedule. And then also another question here. Brian asked this, and I think this is super important. How many of home games versus away games do we have less? So I don't know the exact number of games, but if you look at the schedule, it is a lot more home games than away games. Like it's pretty substantial, I feel like. And then your last 9 games of the season are also at home. So they're going home on Thursday. They have a few games there. Then they have a pretty long road stretch. Then they have another home stretch. Then they have a couple little road stretches. And then they finish off 9 games at home. So a lot more home games than away games. But I think that's probably it for the playoff race. Anything else you want to add on the playoff race?
No, I mean 25 more wins gets us almost a guaranteed spot in the playoffs. That'll be 90 wins. I don't know how many games we got left, but 25 seems pretty doable. And even then, 85 is like around the number you want to be at in order to be the 6th seed. Now, this year it seems like it might take a little more. So you want to shoot 87, 88. But realistically, I think this team can rattle off 25 more wins. So hopefully they're able to do that. Unfortunately, that 90 wins might only get you a 5th seed, which is absurd. I feel like in any other season that is not the case. That probably wins you a division realistically in the past few years, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
We can thank all the tanking franchises for being non-competitive.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true.
What is it like 13 franchises were deemed like not trying to win in any capacity this season?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know the Padres were 35 and 35 since June 1st. That sounds about right. But I mean, a lot of season left. So let's just see how they do the rest of the season. Man, I feel like too many people are negative right now.